Hey yo guys, just wanted to show you my new motorized bike. I had to rebuild it onto this frame because my old one, the axle on my old one broke and they didn't have one that would fit the old style narrow forks. And so I had to get this, so I had to rebuild it onto my other bike. This is the original bike I meant to build it on. And the way I got this engine is one of my friends at work wanted me to build one for him, but after I got the engine, he didn't want to pay for the bike frame. And I couldn't afford to get the bike frame, so I asked him if he wanted to buy the engine, and he couldn't afford to buy that. So I gave him my old engine just because he wanted to build it, and he couldn't afford one, so I just took the new one. I also got a new exhaust pipe for it. It's an expansion chamber. Boosted my top speed from, on this bike, about 32 to 37. I also put an extension on it so the exhaust doesn't go straight up under your seat. I also put the fenders back on. Mostly because it looks cool with the fenders, and that fender protects stuff from getting flung over here, and this one just protects the wiring. Here's a view of it. And the cables, the screws holding my CDI together, right there, they actually broke off when I was riding it. Like I think they just vibrated loose and came off. So until I get replacements, it's literally just being held on by duct tape, because duct tape fixes everything. Duct tape is life. Yeah, I was getting rid of my performance carburetor because it didn't work well with where I live. I couldn't get a jet kit for it. So on my old engine, it topped out at 18, and then started four-stroking and wasting gas. So I just used this one, and this one is ridiculously good. I also drilled a hole right there in order to reduce air resistance, and right there, my finger gets there. And there's like this rubber, for lack of a better term, this rubber seal about right here-ish, right after the air filter, the actual air filter element, and I just cut all the rubber bits out of that and kept the seal itself because to lower air resistance. And getting this clutch to work on this engine was impossible because there still isn't a perfect balance between engaged and disengaged. So most of the time when you're engaged, you can hear it just slipping slightly at about 37. Under that, it doesn't do that. I don't really know why, but that's just the way this engine is. And the exhaust pipe this engine came with made it run worse than the one off my old engine, actually. Sorry about that. Made it run worse. It topped out at, I don't know, like 19. And then wouldn't do anything. It just wasn't running right. It was running too rich, and it didn't seem right. So I put my old one on there, the black one for my old bike. I think there's a video on that somewhere. And that ran better. That topped out at about 32. And then I put this one on there, now it tops out at 37. So yeah, and the reason I'm doing this video now, and not when I actually built this like 2 months ago, is because it's been very cold and very rainy for the past several weeks because Indiana towards the end of the year sucks in terms of weather. Now is the first like actually warm day, but it's foggy because it's warm. So technically I could ride this bike, but that would be ridiculously unsafe. But yeah, that is my motors. Oh, and one thing, I got a bike speedometer, a bike phone kit, and a headlight and taillight off of YouTube. These are both water resistant. I think they're like water resistant, like 200 feet or some shit like that, or something like that. But yeah, this is probably the best headlight. This actually beats some headlights on cars that I've ridden in, which is hilarious when you think about it. But yeah, that is my motorized bike. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below, and I will try to answer them as best as possible. See ya.